Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Come to you live from our comfy couch here in the outskirts of the internet. This is the Gaming Saloon Reviews for January 2nd, 2023, with your host, Peacemaker2448, and wrap it up, Salon. We are in for a mess of a show.
Yeah.
I'm also going to point out, I have not watched this show since it aired.
I'm also going to point out that I could not find a better image than that, and I'm not too pleased with the chaos that's there, so...
Oh, don't feel bad. I struggled for an image for the fucking schedule. And that one didn't work either.
Why do I get the feeling that this show just doesn't work on an image stance?
Because it doesn't.
It also doesn't help that we don't have a real good, proper opening.
Oh, you don't like the Transformers and the 5-second jingle with Optimus Prime doing a pose, and that's the opening of the show?
That doesn't work for an opening.
I'm aware. It won't get better when the show actually gets an opening. Ish. So this is Transformers Armada, folks. It came out started airing August 23rd, 2002 in America. Would you care to guess when it started airing in Japan?
Before that?
No.
Oh.
January of the following year on the 10th.
Huh.
So have you noticed how there's some weird things with the dialogue in this show, and how Sparkplug got called Leader 1 at one point? The little yellow minicon of Autobot or of Optimus's, because that's not his name.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Let's just say this show's a little rushed on the script front. Also, I'd like to talk about, the differences between the show and like in Japan and in the stateside. But we'd be here all day per episode.
I'm trying to gauge if that's a good or a bad thing.
There is 27 differences in episode 1 alone. Most of them, I believe, are dialogue based.
Trying to gauge if that would be a good or a bad thing.
Well, you can look on TF Wiki's list for yourself, along with all of the animation and technical errors, the continuity notes and errors, and this is fucking enormous. So yeah, we're not gonna do that. We're just gonna talk about the show as is, and this is certainly a show.
Yeah.
So, any thoughts going in?
No. Because I was going completely blind on this one.
I mean, you had a good experience with Beast Wars, right?
I mean, yeah. That's why I was fine with going in blind on this one.
Yeah, that might have been a mistake.
Yeah.
On both of our parts. So I'm like, Armada can't be that bad, right? I remember the show being decent. 4 episodes in. Oh God, what was I on as a child?
I'm telling you, this show has all of the makings of like most late 90s shows.
Yeah, it's one of those late 90s anime shows we got.
Hence why I asked when it came out.
Because I've been watching one of the old Zoid shows on my own time, just because I felt like it. Weirdly enough, the only thing that exists for the Zoids, at least the Zoids I was wanting to watch was like the second season of the Zoids, is the dubbed version that has the source footage of the Blu-rays that are in Japan, except whenever they cut footage from the episode, the Japanese dialogue still plays. Only to transition back to the dub dialogue. On purpose, I believe.
So what I'm hearing is it was a questionable dubbed version?
No, I believe this was done by a subgroup or someone, a third party, essentially. This was not the actual company that released the Zoid stuff. No, this is someone who, like, cobbled all of this together. Like, the dub audio, the Blu-ray source, and then keeping the Japanese subbed or the Japanese audio for the cut scenes from the episodes. I believe. I honestly don't know. Because it's only been really present in one episode where it's just very obvious that it's just like, well, this got cut because here's a bunch of Japanese dialogue for like a minute or so, and then it cuts back. And it's like, this does not happen in any other episode so far. And I am at like 12 of like 20 something. So like, apparently it was just this one episode so far. But anywho, I was expecting a better time than I got. Oh boy, this might be we might be in for the long haul, folks.
All I'm gonna say is this was your pick.
They're all my picks.
I know.
TGSR is unfortunately my domain of, well, what dumb shit do I walk into this week?
Yeah.
But I also afflict upon you because you decide to stay and do this with me.
I mean, there's been quite a few of them that I was full on board with, though.
Yeah.
Fortunately, though, it seems like the ones that we back out of usually are not my call right out the gate.
Yeah, it's my stupid decision to be like, let's watch this really dumb thing, and then it goes horribly, and then we're out within weeks.
Or it pulls a hibiki on us.
Yeah. Anyway, let's kick off with episode 1, First Encounter. So we get a basic Transformers origin story thing of something made the Transformers. They have a planet called Cybertron. There's the Autobots that are the good guys. There's the Decepticons who are the bad guys, and they're at war. But the twist this time is they have this third race of Transformers called the Minicons. They're little small buddies that plug into the bigger Transformers and give them a power-up of 90% of the time being, hey, here's a weapon that was on you right now, but I unlocked it for you.
And maybe made it more powerful, question mark?
I guess. Look, we're trying desperately to make this toy gimmick work, because that was the toy gimmick for Transformers Armada, is every Transformer came with a little Minicon buddy that turned in from a robot to a little small vehicle or thing, and you plugged it into the bigger Transformer, and you got a new thing to play with. We gotta make that work in a plot setting somehow.
You know what's
So, yeah.
bad? I don't think I ever watched the show, but I do remember the toys.
I owned every Autobot from the show and Megatron, and I believe a couple of the Minicon 3-packs. Because I'm pretty sure I owned the 3 that are with the kids, and I'm pretty sure I owned the 3 other major teams of the show. I don't think I ever owned any of the other Decepticons besides Megatron. Don't ask me why. That was just how I was as a kid. I think I was unfortunately that dumb kid that never bought the bad guys and only ever bought the good guys. So I didn't help, standards of the industry at all. But yeah, this third race are leaving the planet because fuck you, we're tired of being a part of the war, and the Autobots are like, cool, we'll help you, and the Decepticons are like, no, come back, we're sorry. So the Minicon ship leaves, and then it crashes into the moon of the Earth, and then a piece breaks off, and then it falls to the Earth, and then a bunch of Minicons get spread, and they're in these disc forms, and then that piece of the ship crashes, and eventually it gets buried, and a town gets built over it, and that is the town we are in with our 2 characters, Rad and Carlos, in a town that I don't think is ever named in the show. That looks like it is in New Mexico.
Probably because it is.
So that's where we pick up with Rad and Carlos, who are longtime friends who are going to school. And I think they said they are like middle school kids?
Yep.
They do not look that young. These kids are from high school. You can't fool me. These are high school kids. You are lying to me, show.
Well, I mean, look. They didn't have the original material to go off of. They had to come up with their own.
They had the original material. They just had to quickly fucking translate it to get the show out the door because, oops, we gotta get the show out in August.
Oh, but you're talking about before Google Translate was a thing.
I know.
They had to pay someone to do that, and do you know how many people over here know how to speak Japanese?
So, also, the school has this astrological research center nearby. I don't think either one of them are important, I guess. But that's when we also meet Alexis, who's also their friend, who does not want to join them on an expedition to a cave because she doesn't feel like it and just kind of fucks off. Then we meet Billy and Fred, or as I like to call them, Bulk and Skull, because they are doing the bully shtick that Bulk and Skull did, and Power Rangers, because they are literally just Bulk and Skull, and you cannot tell me otherwise.
Like I said, late 90s TV, well, anime trope. We're checking boxes off here.
I think you have to reverse the names, because technically it's Skull and Bulk because of how they are. But yeah, it is just Bulk and Skull. So they end up following Rad and Carlos to the cave. Rad and Carlos just go exploring, and the 2 of them get lost and almost die, but they don't. So boo-hoo. Meanwhile, Rad and Carlos find the remains of the Minicon ship, and Rad picks up one of the Minicons. And that ends up sending a signal to the Minicon ship on the moon, and then the Transformers on Cybertron, and then it's, oh god, the Minicons are active, we need to get people on board there. Also, it knocks out the power in the nearby area, which causes Alexis to go meet up with the two of them, so that they're all there when Megatron shows up and fucks around with them for like 5 minutes.
Because apparently he forgot which port his aux cord needed to plug into.
Apparently. He literally just fucks around and lets them run off with the Minicon Rad Awakens, which is Highwire, who is the bike.
It's one of those, I'm sorry, there's no reason for Megatron to be quiet that long.
Yeah.
It's a giant freaking robot that just came out of a portal. I don't think him talking was gonna scare them any worse than the rest of that.
Yeah. So Megatron just fucks around with them and like flicks a rock at them to make them stop running away. All 5 feet away from him. Because that's how far they got before he flicked the rock at him. But then Optimus Prime shows up, and then they get into a test of strength, and then that's the end of the episode as Rad's like, oh god, I have made a terrible mistake. Which takes us to episode 2, Metamorphosis. So the kids try to run away again, only they get intercepted by more Transformers. This time it is the Abolisher, who is another tank friend, and Starscream, who is a jet friend, and probably, I think, for most people, the best character of this show. That is probably a very questioning look you're giving me right now, that Starscream is the best character of this fucking show.
Not really.
Because I also think he is the only one that gets a character arc. I think. I have no idea. But yeah, they show up and corner the kids, but then Red Alert and Hotshot teleport in. And then all 6 of our Transformers now duke it out, and as the kids run away again, this time back into the cave, and then the Decepticons were like, no, the kids ran away. We're leaving now, and then they all just teleport away in a different manner than they teleported in. Because they come in some, like, Terminator, like, orb forms, but then they leave in like a sliding like stripe way. I don't why. I'm a little confused.
And what really gets me is, don't they also change the way they teleport in later?
Probably.
I feel like within these 4 episodes they managed to change how they teleport in.
Oh,
and I'm like, okay, now this really doesn't make sense, but I don't care.
I'm pretty sure one of them was like, why have you not found the Minicon ship? Like when the Decepticons regroup later, and I'm like, what do you mean? Isn't that the thing you're in right now? That is the Minicon ship. Do you not know that's the Minicon ship? Guys?
Apparently not.
Have you lost the plot? Because I have. And we're 2 episodes in.
There was a plot? I thought we'd just have giant robots fight each other and that's it.
There is a significant... there is not a whole lot of giant robots fighting each other in this 4 episodes of this show. They are actively trying to not have them fight.
Which kind of sucks.
Yes, it does. So, when the Decepticons run away, they now have the Minicon ship. Cyclonus, the helicopter friend, is here, and he's just hanging out. He's told to go scan the area to find Minicons, and he kind of fucks off and then disappears for a little bit. The kids end up back into the inner workings of the Minicon part of the ship that's on Earth, and then Rad finds the script so he can reread the intro from episode 1 as this must be what happened. And I'm like, Rad, where the fuck did you find the script? Rad, who gave you the script?
Also, how did he know what buttons to hit on that alien computer? that not only gave him the backstory for everyone, but also managed to translate it to English for him.
From Beep Boop's Minicon or just regular whatever Cybertronians would speak that apparently is English. Maybe. For all we know, they might have some kind of voice thing that translates automatically. Yeah. So that happens. We check back in with Megatron, who's just walking around the moon, and he finds a Minicon, and it's his old friend Leader 1. And he just finds him, and it's like, okay. But back in the base, Highwire's like, hey, I found my teammates, and then he has Carlos and Alexis awaken them. So now they all have Minicon buddies that are also the vehicle modes of the things they were riding in episode 1. So like, Brad has a bicycle, Carlos has a skateboard, and Alexis has a better scooter. Because it honestly feels like Alexis wins out on this because she actually gets a motorized scooter now instead of a push one.
I mean, fair.
So the kids decide to take them outside for a joyride. And that's when Megatron and the Decepticons show up and crowd around them, only for the Autobots to show up. And I love how Optimus just runs Megatron over and keels him over on his side for 5 minutes. Then Megatron is just sitting there in his tank mode on his side, just doing nothing after getting sideswiped by Prime. Until Starscream and Demolisher come up and is like, boss, you okay? And he's like, what are you doing? Go get them! Like, Megatron, what the fuck were you doing? You were just hanging out on the side of your tank. Are you a turtle?
Probably.
So, Prime runs away with the kids, and we meet up with Hotshot and Red Alert. And now it's a 4v3 fight! How do you feel about the first 2 episodes?
Meh.
Fair.
It was exposition, the show.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it was the same exposition, too.
Yeah.
And it was also entirely focused on these 3 kids that I'm going to be honest, I don't care about.
Also, I could kind of tell that this week was just going to be a get through it, and I'll see how I feel about the show next week.
Yeah.
Because I kind of half expected at least the first 2, if not the first 4, just being complete plot dump. And anyone that has remote idea of how Transformers works knows the bulk of the background of it. So, yeah.
Also, is it just me, or does it feel like of our 3 human cast members, Alexis is the one with the brain cell among the 3 of them?
I mean, in the first 2 episodes, yes.
Because that's the feeling I got. I'm just like, you're the smart one.
In the back 2, I feel like she passes the brain cell to another one, but,
Well, that feels appropriate when we're dealing with multiple characters. They just pass the brain cell back and forth to each other.
Yeah.
Whenever they need it.
What's bad, though, is I feel like we're only going to have 2 people that are ever in possession of the brain cell at one point, but, because I feel like we have Smart Girl when she wants to be, Smart Boy when he wants to be, and Comic Relief.
Pretty much.
Yep.
So shall we hit the back half then?
I guess so.
Alright, episode 3, Base! So, our 2 sides fight it out. And by fight it out, I mean Megatron's like, I'm gonna use my Minicon and pull out my big cannon. That, when I fire, sends me careening backwards, and nobody thinks to brace him as he then tumbles over onto the ground, still firing, making me firmly believe that Megatron in this series is a turtle. Because once he is on his back, he is entirely useless to everyone in this fight. But the fight causes a landslide. Red Alert and Hotshot protect the kids, and in the process get mini-cons. So now that Hotshot gets a helicopter friend named Joel that lets his back tires and axle flip out into a big cannon, and Red Alert gets another friend I don't remember the name of that pops out a gun from his backpack. Red Alert, why don't you have that gun normally? Can't you just pull out that gun normally? Why do you have to have a mini-con to pull out a gun? But the fight goes for a little bit. Cyclones grabs another pair of mini-cons, and then everyone fucks off to their respective bases. So, with the Autobots, exposition from the opening one more time, because gotta make sure everybody in Row Z knows the basic premise of the show. At episode 3, which is why we've repeated it once per episode.
I mean, I still think we need one more exposition after the...
No. God, no.
You know the show's gonna do it.
I'm sure.
The show's totally gonna do it. And if it doesn't before, it will when we get a new character.
Yeah. But the kids want to join up because it's their fault. And by their fault, I mean it's Rad's fault. But the fuck are the three of you going to do? So the Autobots are like, you know what? Sure, you can help. And that's when they go meet with the Autobots. Meanwhile, Megatron deals out the minicons to Demolisher and Cyclones because Starscream's not allowed to have a minicon now. Also, the kids get Laserbeak, who is a little small bird robot that turns into a camera that also turns into a gun, because I know that's what the toy did, and I don't know if they ever give that kid ever do that in the show, because I'm pretty sure these kids are not. Because why would we give any of these kids a gun? So that's when a signal comes in that a minicon is active. So our team goes to deploy to it, which takes us to episode 4, Comrade. The team deploys. The kids get fancy jumpsuits because somebody installed that in between episodes, I guess. Rad gets left behind for a hot minute until they come back up the elevator to grab him because reasons. Something tells me it's padding, because it's not a part of the plot of the episode. and it's never brought up. But then they all use the, I'm gonna say space bridge, because I don't think they ever give it a name. Because it warps them to the canyon that apparently is several thousand miles out, where the minicon is. So then Carlos goes with Red Alert, Alexis goes with Hotshot, and the minicons go with Prime. And then Rad gets left behind until Hotshot and Alexis turn around to go pick up Rad, like Prime told them to do to start with. And then they never bring that up again. Also, since it's a canyon, it's a rough ride for everyone. And then for some reason, Carlos and Red Alert have a conversation about the Transformers not feeling pain. Okay. that was a random conversation that happened, and then they move on from it. Hotshot and gang spot the Minicon and try to go for it, but the Decepticons intercept them in Red Alert, so Prime has to go for it while the rest of the Minicons go save everyone else. But as the rest of the Autobots are trying to shake the Decepticons, Prime and Megatron duke it out, and Prime gets the shit kicked out of him. Off camera. Because we see Prime and Meg meet, we cut away, we come back, and Prime is on one knee, like, nearly dead.
Because, I mean, we can't show Prime almost getting killed.
No, we have to save that for a plot relevant moment.
I mean, everyone knows Prime's gonna... Wait, yeah, everyone should know that.
Yeah.
It's a Transformers anything. Prime dies at some point. It's one of those... That's a given.
I'm pretty sure TF Wiki has an article. It's like, here is every time Prime has died in every piece of media. Literally, there is not a piece of media where Prime has not died.
I feel like if there ever is a piece of media where Prime has not died, that will probably be the most surprising thing ever. Like, that would probably trump all of the Pokemon anime stuff that we've had going on with Ash.
Yeah. Because it's also hilarious because, like, Hasbro killed Prime because, you know, that would be a thing, and then it traumatized a bunch of kids and stuff when they saw the movie, and they're like, oh fuck, we also can't do this in the G.I. Joe movie, we're gonna kill Duke, so they didn't have Duke die in that movie. And then they had to scramble to revive Prime in the later seasons of the show because, oops, we traumatized a bunch of kids when we killed a very popular character. We kind of need to reverse this to get ratings back. And then they did that, and the ratings never recovered. But now it's just a thing that Prime always dies. It's very fucked up.
Yes, it is. But it's also kind of funny. It's almost as if they realized their mistake, and now they're just like, you know what? We are going to make it a point to just be like, no, look, see, he dies every time. He just comes back every time.
Don't feel bad. He just walks it off. It's just his nap time.
Prime's got to recharge. What? He's not talking or anything? Nah, he's fine.
He's meditating. That's what it is. He's just meditating. It sometimes takes several episodes. Anywho, Red Alert manages to get away from his. The other Minicons manage to evac Alexis and Rad from Hotshot, who got boxed in by some rocks. They get to Prime. The Prime speed up. So the three Minicons combine together into Perceptor and then knock the shit out of Starscream and Meg, even though he's like a 12th of their size. And that gives Prime an opening to get his partner Sparkplug, and then he goes into his super mode, and then he plugs in Sparkplug, and then big laser attack, and the Decepticons are like, ah, fuck, we can't deal with this today. Bye. So that's the episode. It's amazing what happens to your memories when you haven't watched the show in like 20 some odd years.
Yeah, ain't it?
So yeah, the show's not off to a good start at 4 episodes, being honest.
I'm sure it can't get worse.
I don't think it will get worse. It's more of a question of, will I be able to laugh at the dumb things the show does? Or will I be annoyed by it?
Yeah, that's gonna be the question.
But that's pretty much gonna do it for this week. You got anything else?
Nah.
All right, then Thursday we're gonna hopefully wrap up Pokemon Violet on stream. Friday will be something.
Yeah.
Saturday might be us continuing Darker Side co-op for Odyssey or something else. Stay tuned for that. And then next Sunday we will continue this show in hopes the show will be good. But if you like what you're seeing, drop a follow. Really appreciate it. Chipping away that Philly go. Add to Center Tour, get you updates live. Next page point, Discord chat is listening. Drop by, say hi. See you Thursday, folks.